Hey guys, welcome to episode 33 of The Shack. This is actually a part 2 of our
multi-part series because it's going to take us several episodes to get through it.
Makes it sound so official. Multi-part series.
Long-winded.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
But this is our second part of our get home bag, our Bob, our go bag, our bug out bag, our 72-hour bag, our AB bag, and our ready go bag.
That's a lot of bags.
It's a lot of names.
I like bags.
No, well, that's a cool name. Whatever you may call it. I actually call mine the AB bag, get from point A to point B. We covered in the last episode up from fire and water, so we're going to continue on with shelter and keep going forward. But first, Mike, as we always do, where can they find the podcast?
You like to pain me, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
It's anywhere you can find podcasts, of course.
So there you have it. And you can find it on our website. We have a Shack link right in there.
Shack link.
A Shack link.
Sweet.
Yep. Also, we have an affiliate program. If you guys shop at Amazon, like we know we all probably do from time to time, if you'll click through the website, is that correct, Mike?
Yes, on the Shack page on the website, there's the link for our Amazon affiliate program.
That is the one way that you can help support the Shack so that we can continue doing these. So, excited about that. Let's see who all's here today. I'm LT.
Scooter Harry Man on the inside.
I'm Tyler.
Brian from Woods Monkey.
Mikey.
Nick. And Sam.
Yeah, the gang's all here. Why when it's your turn, you kind of like do that deep announcer
He's got to
voice?
get in the
radio
show
voice?
voice.
Because he's surprised.
I don't know. It just
Like
comes
Scooter.
natural.
You
Man.
caught him off guard.
Let me do it again.
Forgot who he was.
Scooter Harry Man on the inside.
That's much better. How could I catch him off guard? He's always the second one to go.
He doesn't seem to
You
think
tried
so.
though, because you were looking over there, and I just knew.
Hey,
Time to
you just
perform.
You got to be
Chop,
on
chop.
top. Right on. So we are moving on now. I actually, guys, after the last episode, and we talked a little bit, I had some ideas that I am going to change up a few things. Anybody else have any thoughts from the last program that you kind of went, hey, you know what? I like this. I'm going to make
I got in a few pieces I was waiting on to finish the fire and water side.
Oh, good. Good. I actually pared down.
See,
I went home and went, man, I got too many of these.
See, I changed something, and then have since changed back.
Well, do tell.
So I had the big Nalgene bottle,
Right?
and I decided I wanted another water purification option after hearing everybody talk about what they had. So I switched it over to a stainless bottle that was only a 1 liter. And it turned out I really did want all that capacity after all. So now I'm back to the big Nalgene and still have the titanium pot in there too.
But that is one of the cool things about it is being able to go out and try that other thing and saying, hey, this is something that I like, something that I didn't. One of the things that I had tested a lot more than the last time we talked was the Grail.
I love the Grail.
Yeah.
We use that. So between the last podcast and now, we had our pouting, which is shameless plug for the Pout House. Scooter, you want to give them the little rundown there?
The pouting and the pout house, they're the place to be if you like the knives.
That's right.
That was both vague and helpful. I like it. So
So you've met Scott.
while we were on the pouting, my whole family used my grill in our lodge room, which was essentially a hotel. And
Nice.
it was actually very nice for purifying water for everybody. So 2 adults, 1 3-year-old. Yeah, it worked out really good.
Yeah, no, that's great. I have been using it around the house. I use, at night after I shower, I always fill up some water and take it upstairs and just have water during the night if I wake up or something. And I have always done that. So I'm using clean city water, I guess, for as clean as it is. But the point is just the training of using it, getting used to using it, see how much that 24 ounces really does for me. Because I've used one of those big Yeti mugs for so long at night, and I just
Brian,
run
we can't see it.
It's a great big Yeti mug.
It's a big Yeti
But it's
mug.
bright orange. You can really see it.
It's got a nice
So,
size.
so just testing the Grail around the house and having it down to pouting, it's just like anything else. Any of your tools, just use them a little bit. So that's all. And Elaine's been using hers. She's been filling it up at home and bringing it to work every day and using it here and just, again, getting comfortable with using the product. So that's one of the things that I messed with since last time, other than taking out some of the fire. I think I had way too much fire stuff in there. But maybe that's after we get done with this whole series, we'll go back and say, okay, what mods have we made because of our discussions? So that's kind of what I like.
I did not change, and I am over fire as well, and I'm leaving it that way. Because what if you're in a situation with more than one person? I have fire, lots of it. I have too many shelter pieces, good, because I don't have any.
Right.
Time to trade.
But you're also still working off of the truck more as your go bag, not necessarily a certain size bag.
Oh, yeah, I'm
right?
working off a minuscule bag here, yeah, for sure. This is the headrest bag from Blue Ridge Overland Gear.
Yeah.
And you can see I now have two of them. I had two of them. That one's out of the Rover. This is the bigger one I
That
keep
why it
in the
says Land
Tacoma.
Rover
Yes,
on
I had a special badge. I mean, what's that called?
Patch.
Patch.
No. I mean, yes, it's a patch, but name tape or something like that.
It's a name tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it name tape?
Name tape.
Okay. There you have it.
He made me want to say Land Rover for the Land Rover. Yeah.
It's interesting what you just mentioned, though, about the potential for trading, because I know some guys that actually have like a gallon Ziploc bag of trade bait where they put cigarettes, tobacco,
Yep.
products, various, whatever, snuff and whatever, other little odds and ends that they have specifically set aside for if they're in an emergency and they want to either bribe someone or make a trade or a swap or
Right.
whatever it takes.
Heck yeah.
I recently added some silver to my
Oh, good call.
thing
Oh, that's a
because
good idea.
Yeah.
at the pouting, there was a lot of interest in one of the guys that had some silver, and
Yes.
people were trying to get the silver.
Yep. No, I agree with you. And it was at the trade blanket.
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh, what do I have that he would want? I know. I'm totally on board with you there. I'm writing that down right now.
So, and
Because-
That's a
then
good
I
idea.
also added a lot of more urban type things to
Right.
the bag that I carry on a regular basis.
Silcock key.
Yep. Well, I had one, but I threw it in there now because it's
Sure.
like
What one?
that's
Silcock key for. So if you've ever done anything in the landscaping world professionally, a silcock key is essentially a wrench that will turn on an outdoor spigot, and they purposefully make it recessed like that so that Joe Blow can't come along and turn
Yeah,
on
just
your
turn it on
faucets.
and-
But
Okay.
you can get them at Harbor Freight for I think $1 or something like that. I don't know.
the one I got
really
was
cheap.
on Amazon for $17.
Yeah.
It's not that you
That's a
can't
good
do
idea.
it with needle nose pliers. It's just way harder, and to have a simple little wrench like that is very nice.
It also works on fire sprinkler systems too.
Good deal.
Yep.
Anybody else make any mods since last
Interesting.
we talked?
I have earmarked the Grail webpage. Does that count?
Yes, it does.
They're well.
I
it's
definitely
well worth
want
it,
one.
I have to
It-
say.
it's, so far, yeah.
That's way cool. I like
have
that.
found no
It's on the short list.
downside to it unless you go past the fill line.
Well, you
That's
only,
why-
you only
that's why
squirt
there's a
yourself
line there.
once, and then you're like, okay.
Here's the thing: if I was
got it.
outside, it would not matter.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it at my kitchen.
I
and
was
I'm
doing it all in the hotel
cleaning that
bathroom.
up.
I'm
What's
like,
it do? Spray it? Spray it.
Oh yeah, because there's no room for it to go anywhere but
yeah, it'll.
out back out. So it's like, oh.
Water is not
Yeah,
compressible.
I just took a shower.
Well, there's a line that says "Don't go past here."
Yeah.
You did.
They're not good. Yeah.
No,
okay.
I didn't. Since we were in the hotel room, essentially, it was at the lodge at the campsite there. I didn't get any field experience yet with it as far as filling it from a creek or using the pre-filter that I have for it. So I don't know, but so far, yeah, I really like it. It. I do like having a flat surface to press it against.
Yes.
I don't know how I'm gonna feel about pressing it into the mud or the dirt or whatever, or trying to do it off my leg, because that's not an insignificant amount of force you have to apply
there's
to
a little
it.
bit of pressure on it. But I mean, if you follow the directions, do
Yeah.
the half turn to let the air out and all the other things. I'm running about 8 to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So about, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that product, and good shout out to the Grail product, man. If you guys haven't looked into those for water purification, for on the go, or just like I said, quickie, wow, it's good to go. So
Get the
yeah.
cool Pathfinder stainless nesting cup that they sell on the Grail website too.
I think Grail actually makes the titanium sleeve now
likes
for
that
theirs too.
So,
I lied. I did add something sort of to my kit. I got a hat. I got a cache. I got the Wazoo cache baseball cap.
now, see, I wear mine every day, and I don't think of that as much as the bug out portion, but I guess technically it is. I mean, we'll get to hats and pockets after we get the
I've
bags done.
actually been seriously looking at how much stuff I can fit in their belt, in the hat,
Yeah.
and just making that the stuff that I carry with me every day. Like not wearing it, but just keep those 2 items in my bag.
See, for anyone that's listened to a couple of the podcasts, you'll know I'm the kit guy. That I'm sort of obsessive about this, and I have a few tiers of EDC kits. So I already have an ultralight one that's sort of built on a little pouch system, but I could easily see converting that over to the baseball cap. Not the belt so much. The belt is nice if you want sort of that medium long-term storage thing.
Yeah.
Or, you want to have a full-blown survival kit where, because you're not going to whip off your belt to get your pocket knife or,
No,
something
but
like that.
what I'm thinking of is like I just have it rolled up in the bag. Like I'm not wearing the belt, but I have it with me all the time, and no one's gonna think, "Oh, it's just a belt in the bag."
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. The hat is wonderful.
Yeah.
For those of you that do not have one of the cash hats from Wazoo, just the hat, even if you don't put something in it, it's a nice hat.
It's a very
Oh,
nice
yeah,
hat.
they're nice
It's very
hats to
comfortable.
begin
I
with.
like it a lot just for
They're
the hat.
soon going to
fact.
be the official hat of the LT Wright product line.
And they've gone through a few iterations, too, where they had mesh pockets for a while that were different than the current ones. And now they have that really nice orange lining in there.
And
I
the
really like that.
reflector. And, yeah,
Quick,
very
everyone
nice.
look at
That's a
Brian's.
signaling panel.
I'm not a huge fan of the reflective tape stuff, but I know that they put that in there for visibility. So,
Yeah.
But I will warn everyone: if you go to look in there at night and you shine your flashlight in, squint because you'll be
Okay, I
you'll
have
be
another
blind.
tip. Because the only thing so far I put in the hat are the 2 zip ties around the brim.
Yep.
Okay, so now there's the big zip tie end right here, and I'm holding my fingers very close to my forehead.
Right.
So if you put that hat on quickly, or you use your hat to scratch your noggin, those are gonna,
Hurt.
Yeah.
until you
Remove
teach
skin.
yourself,
Yeah.
hey, there's
There's
plastic
nubs
things
here.
here.
Yeah, we'll have to get into the hats to see how we set them
That-
up, because I
hey-
do set mine up.
Yeah, we should each do a loadout and then vote on like what we
Yeah,
want to go
yeah.
into the
Let's
knife maker
do
loadout.
that. Pockets,
Let's make it a
hats.
podcast
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, we'll
Where
do
we,
it.
we build
We'll
the
build
knife
the
maker
Wazoo.
hat kit. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I
Good,
love
good,
it.
good. Okay, now let's focus back on our.
Okay.
Now we're
You're good.
supposed to be talking about.
Okay, so we were talking about. Well, we got through fire and water. We told you guys what our ideas are. Mikey, did we get any emails?
Negative, sir.
Okay, so nobody, and please feel free to send an email to Mike anytime you guys want to add something.
Mike H at LTWrightKnives.com.
Basically, yeah, because I love ideas. That's why I'm getting my notebook right here in front of me, and I have these things written down. So let's move on.
Well, since you mentioned that, at the Georgia Bushcraft Spring Gathering,
Okay.
a gentleman came up to the table. I don't remember his name, but he said, "Hey, I listen to your podcast. I keep cough drops in my go bag." And I said, "You know what? That ain't a bad idea.
Yeah.
Cough drops in your go bag."
Yeah, you don't
Maybe-
want to be coughing up a storm somewhere and draw attention to yourself.
There's
Yeah.
actually a cool new product. I don't know if anybody's seen it. Halls makes these tiny. They're like small pea-sized cough drops. So it comes in a little thing, almost like a Tic Tac container, and they're tiny little. So you don't have to deal with the bigger cough drops with
don't hate
the
that.
paper wrapper that gets all funky and.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know you. Just from what we have in the shop here, the ones that have the little Mylar covers are way better than the ones that have any kind of wrapper like that. Because
Yeah.
we have a lot of dust here at the shop, and it will get into everything.
So cough drops definitely
That's a good
are
idea.
something that's a viable part of your kit, and again, not taking up tons of room.
Truth.
But that's nice that someone came up to you and said, "Hey, I listened to your stuff, and this is what I carry," because it gave us an idea. So
Yeah, because I had never considered
yeah,
carrying
so-
cough drops in
so
there.
thank you for approaching Sam and throwing some stuff out there. And that goes for anyone. Please feel free to contact us and say, hey, this is what I carry and this is why. Because I'm always interested in another thing maybe I didn't think of. I was like that. I carry some cash, but I didn't think of the silver thing, and now I will put a couple silver coins somewhere. I didn't, because I do like silver. So yeah, no problem.
That sounds like a great junk silver option too.
Absolutely.
Because
I was genuinely surprised at how many people were like, "Ooh, you got silver? What kind of silver? Let's talk silver. What do you want for that silver?" Like it was like, okay, I now just need to have silver because everybody's going to be interested.
Having junk's handy.
Yeah,
junk silver is handy, man. No doubt about it. So, okay, so moving to where we're at today, and we are on. I have some things written out here, so we'll just run right through them. Shelter. Okay, so now we have our go bag. We've got our fire and water shook out a little bit. Let's talk about shelter. I'm going to go run down of what I consider to be my shelter that I have. On the outside of my Lindy bag, the bottom of it, there's a couple straps. So on that, I actually carry a tarp. And the tarp that I carry right now is twofold. One, it was my hammock tarp. So it's something, again, I've already got it. I'm not going out and buying gear. It is a little bit heavier than I would like, but it is a tarp. And the reason I do that is because when I'm thinking of my bag, it might be mine and my wife's bag combined in a bad situation. This tarp, I believe, is a 9x5 or 6x9, something like that. I can't remember. It's when I got off a canteen shop a long time ago. You know which one I'm talking about. Yeah. So I have that set up, and I have bank line set up on it. And I actually have also some lightweight aluminum tent stakes that just go in beside it.
And the Woods Monkey cord locks?
Yes. I was going to say that. And the Woods Monkey cord locks are on there. And another part of the shelter, let's say I can't get that up right away, it becomes a ground cover. It becomes almost the idea of rolling up and in like a taco. If you have to real quick to get dry or something, downpour, you can't get your tarp up, just lay down, roll right up in it and wait till the storm to end. But on top of that, years ago, I bought one of the Stay Out Longer bivvies. So that is a mainstay in both mine and my wife's pack. So for me, my shelter options, other than building something, immediately is that tarp, the bank line with the Woods Monkey tie-outs, and the tent stakes, and SOL bivvy on that.
Okay.
So there you have it. Where you at, bud? What you got?
Scott's show and tell.
So I think, too, it's important to remind everyone of the context of each of our bags, because, like, LT, your setup is different than mine and Scott's and all that. So you would say that's more for what, then? For
Getting from, let's say, here to home.
Yeah.
From here to our farm.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So anywhere from
I'm not setting
5
up
to 50 miles. I mean, you've got a pretty extensive setup. Just because, like, mine is smaller. I mean, but yeah, I just.
But that's and also I'm setting mine up almost for 2 people.
Yeah.
More than just myself.
I gotcha.
Now, that doesn't mean she doesn't have her own independent bag, because she
does.
does.
No. It's just.
But right now.
When Scott talks here, I know it's going to be significantly different.
Yeah. So, before he gets going, does anyone have any questions about what I have for shelter, or you guys go with what I'm carrying?
No. We're just curious. No gloves, no. Or
Yes,
is that
but I
subset?
didn't count them as shelter.
Gotcha.
Yes, I do have gloves. So. Okay, Scott.
This is the heat sheet / shelter / variety of things that comes in your basic survival kit. It's silver on the inside, bright orange on the outside, so it will reflect the heat back to your body and also act as a signaling device that is bright orange. I've used this strung up in some trees like a pup tent. The one year, I think the first year, we went down to PWIP. I just slept under this with a sleeping bag, but it's not very thick, so you do have to be careful with it, but it does the job correctly. If you're cold and you got one of these, you're good to go.
Nice.
Yeah. Now I've carried other things. I really like an army poncho strung up, and there was a kit for a while, and I didn't order it, and I whacked myself. Somebody was making tent poles to jibe with that to make a little mini tent that you could sleep under. And you put the poles in with the poncho, you put a knot where the neck hole was or something like that. I'm like, man, that's perfect. It could be a little lean-to, and now I haven't found it for a while, so I don't know if the guy was a side gig and it went out of business, or I don't know what happened there. But
I think the green elephant poles that Sam and LT buy on Amazon would work to do that because they have a small set.
yeah, it would have to be kind of short
Well,
to work
you
with
actually
it.
have a short set.
I have both
Yeah.
sets.
They have them in
And
different.
They're still
lengths.
pretty
Oh,
long
yeah?
though. But if you're going to store them in the truck, that's not a big deal.
Well, and then too, if you're just doing an army poncho like that, you could just do trekking poles. Like get a 3-divider trekking pole and be good to go.
Well, no, this wasn't just a vertical pole in the center. This was
Oh,
An
like
arc-
an
bow.
arched
arc
pole.
bow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, like for a small
No
one-man
kidding.
tent or something. Yeah, it was a kit he sold.
Sounds almost like that was sourced from something else. I bet I'll have
Could
to look
be,
into
or
that
he
now.
was having it
'cause that's
made, but
interesting.
there
Remember
was
the
two of
name?
them. No, this was a while ago.
And you might have to just
They
Google that
crisscrossed,
backwards.
and it was like, perfect.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
So I had a few army ponchos in a variety of bags, but never got the poles for it. Short of just using this, I would make some sort of lean-to.
See, I love Ranger rolls, so that
'Cause I have
pole thing really
paracord.
appeals to me.
I'll see if I can find something about it. But like I did down at the farm that first
Yeah.
time, and right before I saw the video, right before we went on that little trip, and I did that, I saw a video with Dave Canterbury, and he said, when you make one of these, make a wee little dugout thing by the entrance and light some stuff on fire before you sleep in there at night. And then the smoke, and you will be amazed at the parade of bugs and crawly things that go, fire, and leave your little structure.
Yeah,
'Cause you
it was
don't
fun.
want
I
to
mean, you
sleep
could
with them.
hear them scurrying away. I remember that.
It was
That good.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't forget to do that also. But I think using both of those, you'd have a pretty snug little shelter.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got for shelter. I got hand warmers, but that's
Well, I mean, you also we're building your kit's kind of based on the truck, so the truck itself.
yes.
Is shelter.
Well, this yeah,
Or-
true. But I'm thinking I got to grab this and
You're
run
grabbing
out of the
around?
truck.
Okay, gotcha.
Somebody shot a missile at my Toyota. It's on fire. I must evacuate quickly.
Okay. Ty, you're up.
So, me like you guys, I usually carry some sort of tarp with mine. That way, I can have like just a little makeshift shelter, hang it between two trees. You know, it's just me, the wife, and my child. So we don't really need a 5-star hotel if we're trying to survive. So
Sure would be nice though.
sure would be nice, wouldn't it?
And you know, tarps are tarps. Anything from the blue
Yeah.
tarp.
And you can use them
For
for
short
anything.
term, yeah,
High
absolutely.
dollar. What's that? Dyneema?
Oh my gosh, that's
Is
so.
that is it
Yeah.
Dyneema? Is that the right
Yeah.
name?
That's one
The,
of
like
them, I
stupid
think.
lightweight.
So
Yeah.
nylon. based.
Now, if you get into like the Wilderness
Perfect.
Innovation, I don't know if you ever want to check out wildernessinnovation.com. That guy makes some of the most fantastic ponchos, tarps, and equipment on this planet. I mean, you want to talk about bomb proof? Holy crap.
You gonna write
Some
that
of the
down?
stuff he does with his gear is incredible. Yes. I think I found
I think
Scott's
we're gonna
tent
have to have a
poles
whole
too.
webpage just dedicated to all the vendors mentioned in this.
Oh man.
Yeah. You know, on your tarp idea, Ty, this is something that years ago, when the REI was still up in Settlers Ridge, I went up and they used to give talks and they'd have classes at night. And me and my buddy Kerry attended one. This guy did a through hike on that Appalachian Trail and brought his pack and broke it down. It was like a couple hours long. It was really, really cool, super interesting. But his idea of the whole tarp thing was Tyvek. You know, the stuff they wrap the house with.
Yeah.
Yep.
He had
Oh,
like
yeah.
a 8x8 piece
Yep.
of Tyvek.
Makes
Well,
a
that's a
great
good
ground
idea.
quilt, too.
Washed it in the washing machine to make it soft.
Yeah.
And this is where I got the whole idea of a taco. And we were like, well, what do you do for shelter? He says, when it rains, I get in my sleeping bag and I roll up in this Tyvek and then sleep like that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah. And he literally, it was the size of a softball when he was done rolling it all up. I
Yeah.
was like, holy crap. And it weighs nothing.
You don't even
And
have
it's
to roll it up
indestructible.
pretty though.
No,
You can
in
just
fact,
crumble it up into
would
a
do
ball.
better if you didn't.
And it's
because
really
it'll
hard to
grease.
mess that stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyvek.
Huh.
You probably got some.
Write that down, would you?
Well, I
There might
asked
be some in your
Tyvek.
uncle's basement.
There might be some in my dad's garage.
There you go. Yeah, I like Tyvek.
I may be
so.
giving you stuff this time.
Man, hey, I could use some more. I have some that I use for ground cloth, but anyway. Brian, you're up.
I'm sorry, Mike's making me turn my microphone.
Well, because you're directional.
Exactly. So shelter's probably one of the areas I don't have very well covered, to be honest with you. I mean, I do have a couple little space blankets and a not a great poncho, quite frankly, and that's it. So it's interesting hearing what everybody else has. And, I thought about tarps, but to me, it's the size. So when you say the Tyvek's like crumpled down to the size of a softball, that's kind of an interesting idea, because I always think of like a decent tarp is going to take up some room, not necessarily weight, but more room than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing like Tyvek's, even if you didn't do grommets, if you just put little rocks in the corners and did the tie off to quickly throw something up in the air. Yeah, Tyvek's, man, that's the way to go. I actually wrote it down for myself after thinking about it. I was like, maybe that's how I get rid of the big tarp. I just go ahead and set up the Tyvek and use silver in the corners as my tie-outs.
There you go.
There, my silver's
two birds there.
Dig it.
Or one round of 9mm in each corner.
It's not a bad idea.
The ammo is more
So
precious
remember,
than the
Tyvek's
silver.
is definitely an option.
Yeah, well, and you see people using that, or you see people again at the pouting. One of the popular materials is the Reflectix for winter camping, because it's cheap and easy to get. I mean, it's a little bulky and a little crinkly.
Yeah, it doesn't pack down great.
No.
For those of you that don't know, Reflectex is essentially a bubble. It's very similar to a thin bubble packing material with a mylar coating on the outside. So you get the dead air space in the air bubbles, and then the reflective heat on the outsides.
And it does work. I mean,
It just doesn't pack down small.
It's the best lining for like a camping chair, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The sad part is it
unbelievable.
does not pack down.
I do-
It
I have
doesn't
a-
weather very well either, in my opinion.
Well, again, it's bubble wrap. It's not really meant to move much.
No.
Yeah.
But
I
like,
have a piece cut that fits my camp chair that I keep in the trailer.
That's
See?
a significant upgrade trick.
I use it in my
camping chair.
hammock instead of a sleeping pad, and it works fantastic. Yep.
It- Sorry to interject, but if you get a tarp, depending on the size, you will want it. I have this book. I've read it a few times. It's awesome. It's called the Rayway Tarp Book.
Ray Way.
I sent it. I sent it to you.
The Ray Way.
It's
tarp
how to
book.
camp and forget your tent. Just leave that at home. Just use a tarp. It's awesome.
And it's actually like a softback book.
Yeah.
See, because
yeah.
I dig that stuff. I'd probably get it
It's
just
yay big. It'll fit in my bug out bag.
Yeah, there you go. Dig it.
Very handy. Awesome ideas in there. Obviously lightweight, way lighter than a tent
Oh, there's
most of
so
the time.
many ways to get a tarp configured.
And if
Yeah.
you would use Tyvek instead of a normal tarp for all those things,
Yeah.
I know that's
Even
a big
better.
thing in the ultralighting community, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I know durability is sort of a question mark
For what? The
for
Tyvek?
Tyvek after a while, because again, wearing and abrasion and all those things,
it's got to be
it takes
cheap
but
enough
for
to
cost,
just
I'm
replace
just
Oh,
it.
saying.
yeah, for sure.
Well,
and
here's
for
the-
emergencies,
Here's
it's great.
part of
Yeah.
the trick is washing it
Yeah,
first.
yeah, to soften it.
up.
Yeah. But still,
Because then it's more like a T-shirt. So you're not going to get those. I don't know what you call it.
Paper cuts
Mark. Yeah, paper cuts.
yeah.
on your forehead.
Let's see, that was Brian. Mikey, you're up.
So I have the Trek Light Gear reflectized tarp that I use for hammock camping. I have another one of those that I use in my survival stuff. And then I also have a 15 by 15 piece of Tyvek's
Oh,
that
nice.
I
Oh,
washed, and I use that more for a long-term shelter. Like if I'm just stuck somewhere and I have to
yeah.
stay
Well,
put
15
for a
by
while.
15 be a nice size. You could double it up. You could use it
Yeah,
as
I
a
figured
ground
I could
cloth
either
and
build something
over.
and make a roof out of it, or
Yeah.
make a big enough
Not bad
tarp
size.
that I could stand up in.
You gotta go to Home Depot or something and see how much Tyvek is. Yeah, good call. I like that Reflectex tarp you have
Yes.
for the hammock.
Yeah, the thing's
The
awesome.
last time when you showed that to me, I was like, hey, I don't hate that. That thing's, I bet that's really good on the cold nights.
Yeah.
I dig it. All right, Nick, what do you got?
So for my shelter on the base level, I went back to something, and I've always done this since the Boy Scout days. I have 3 55-gallon contractor bags. So that's good for poncho or rain cover or impromptu, whatever. I still love those, and they're still super handy. And I've used them probably almost more than anything besides the duct tape out of all my kit. There was one time I was dropping some folks off at the airport, and they said, "We have to take our car seat. We forgot it needs some kind of cover. They said they won't let us take it without some kind of cover." I said, "Well, how about a garbage bag?" And they said, "Yeah, that'll work." And
It's a cover.
no joke, they put their child's car seat in the 55-gallon drum bag, and off it went with them. So it worked out good.
Nice. Good save.
So that. Then I have a casualty blanket, so essentially a Mylar tarp, but a little bit more durable one than the real thin ones. I have a blue sit pad, and that's it.
A blue sit pad, is that what you
So
said?
the closed cell foam pads,
Right.
I've had a bunch of those over the years. Took one and cut it up into pieces, particularly to fit in the frame sleeve or the back portion of all my backpacks. So every one of my backpacks at least has a soft frame made out of the closed cell foam. The nice thing about that is it helps cushion your back against anything that goes in your pack that's sort of jagged or lumpy or whatever. But then you can also take it out and have it as a kneeling pad or a sit pad. It takes up virtually no room because it's either right up against a frame sheet that's already there or frame bars or something. Or a lot of times, too, it'll go right in a bladder pocket. So you have this nice insulative piece that fits in there. And again, it doesn't really cost you anything weight-wise. So if you have to take a knee or whatever, you can pull that out real quick, throw it down, and you're good to go.
You know?
Dig it.
Hi, Sammy.
Well, I haven't necessarily finished the shelter side of my bag. The only thing in there right now is an SOL emergency blanket. So I'm kind of taking some mental notes what we're talking about, and I am in the market for a decent tarp. But now that we're talking Tyvek
You got that.
ideas,
Oh, yeah. 5X is a great option. There is no doubt. Size-wise, crinkle up, whatever. Throw it in your BDU.
yeah.
My gosh, there's a lot of things you can do with that. So, good deal. Okay, any other shelter throws out before we move to the next? Okay, let's move on to clothing. Now, clothing can get hard because
Seasonal.
it is seasonal. There's no doubt about it.
Here in our part of the world, especially.
Yeah. So now,
Our part
I'm
of the world, it can be winter in the morning and summer at lunchtime.
Summer,
Yeah, you'd think we
So-
lived at really high altitude, but we don't.
So now I'm not talking rain gear. Okay, we're just talking clothes right now. So I had to really think my way through this. Of like, what am I gonna do? It's like if I go camping, I can run unless something happens. I can run my jeans all weekend. A couple shirts, a couple pair of underwear, that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, I'm looking at a 72-hour bag. What am I gonna do? Well, I probably aren't gonna change clothes if at all. So I just need to supplement for this. This is my personal thought here. So this is what I've done. I have a wool hat. I have wool gloves, wool socks, wool long underwear, top and bottom. Okay, and the reason is, again, as Mike said, it's freezing overnight first thing in the morning. We could get a clear night here. We're cold, and then during the day I can shove it all back in. Now the other nice thing about these wool pieces that I have, they pack very small, very, very small. So I'm extremely excited about that. Actually, the wool hat, I say hat, but it's balaclava.
Balaclava.
Yeah, balaclava is what I got. And it's the green military color. And it's I can get it all into a gallon Ziploc, and then just push the air out, pull it down tight. So that is realistically the extent of my
That's a good
clothes because I'm counting on 9 out of 10 times I have 2 shirts on. I have an under and an over. I have, unless it's summertime, long pants on. I wear wool socks almost year round, so that they're with me anyway. And I have a hat of sorts. So that's kind of where my clothing is. I think I could do, because of the building a fire for being very cold or wet. I think this is the way for me to go right now. So that's the
That
amount of
makes
my
sense.
clothes.
You also have a pair of leather gloves, don't you?
Yeah, well, I have them. I just have them set up on the glove section. But yes, I do have a pair of leather gloves for grabbing things, thorns, fire, logs, whatever. Yes, that I do have a pair of snow-sealed real leather gloves that I carry on the outside of my pack. You are correct.
Okay, as you can see with this wee little mini bag, I don't have any extra pants in here. Let me see. I have no shirts.
So
I have this.
Hey,
He's
I
wearing
have this heat sheet.
if that's what you're going to consider,
And
But-
just to give everyone context, he is sitting here wearing shorts and
Like
a
that?
white
Oh,
undershirt.
stop. I got my.
Just
I got-
context.
But his truck's
I
right
got
there.
pants on.
Just
I do have
context.
hand warmers.
Nice.
yeah.
Chemical warm.
Times two, and always in the back seat, so I could grab this, I could grab that, is a waterproof jacket. My Barber fancy schmancy jacket.
So, are
Which
you
will go
not
through anything.
concerned about clothes?
I have
Just
packed
didn't
that
think
stuff. I used to carry a whole duffel bag of just clothes.
Right.
Now in the passenger seat, and there's a little mat pocket on the back of it. I usually do have a pair of fleece gloves in there and a hat, a wooden winter hat. It's not in this bag, but it's right there within arm's reach.
Gotcha.
I used to carry even more. I would have my wool anorak in there sometimes, but that's big and bulky. But it will go through a World War III, I'm sure. But it's I had it on there at the pouting. It's fantastic, but a little bulky.
I think clothing's a hard thing.
Oh
It
yeah,
really is.
that
Got a
closest
layer.
layer of insulation and
Right-
protection,
right
that's tough.
But as far as inside this little bag to grab it and go, there's nothing other than this heat sheet. So I'm going to make a fire.
Yeah. Well, plus
So-
we're giving you some things to think about as we go
Yep.
around the table.
I would probably, depending on the temperature out, of course, but I probably would not worry too much about changing clothes and getting
Yeah.
clean. There's other priorities, of course.
Yeah, same
So
here.
not too worried about it. This, I would layer that under a coat or jacket or something. That would help.
Oh, heck yeah.
Might make you a little sweaty because it's a heat sheet, but
You'll
know,
vapor lock eventually.
warm,
It'll be fine.
Wet, poke some holes in. I don't know. I'd figure something out.
Gotcha.
That's it.
All right, Ty, what do you got?
See, I usually just keep a couple pairs of jeans and
Couple
shirts.
pairs of jeans. What do you got? A tractor trailer?
Like,
No, no,
He's
no,
taking
he means
his
in the
car
trunk of
too.
his car.
no. You can roll clothes up pretty small if you know how to do it.
See, I tried to teach you. You didn't want to learn.
You can roll
Nah.
clothes up pretty small, but I keep like 1-2 pairs of jeans, some underwear, a couple pairs of socks. 'Cause you never know when you're gonna need socks.
Oh, I totally agree with the sock thing. Yeah.
But
It's the jeans that are throwing them.
Yeah,
No.
the jeans are throwing.
the jeans are throwing.
Hey, but you know what? His bag ain't my bag.
Cotton is death in the cold, just saying.
Yeah.
I only wear jeans and shirts. All I got.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I actually hadn't really until we started talking about this for the last podcast. I didn't really consider it other than like a hat and maybe some clothing. And I was kind of going through websites about what to have in your go bag, and I just never really dawned on me to have like long underwear or something like that in there. It makes perfect sense. I don't have that in my kit. I'm usually dressed for, like, a lot of people don't dress for the weather. They throw on like a light jacket. So I'm usually dressed pretty much for the weather. Cold doesn't really bother me too much now. I mean, that's not being outside at 5 degrees and the wind is blowing and you're trying not to freeze to death. But I hadn't really even considered it up to that point. So it's something I have to look into. I like the idea of like the wool that'll pack down. You can wear it, 3-4 seasons almost. I mean, you talk about wool socks. I wear a Smart Wool 365. Like in the summer, I've got wool socks. I'm always wearing wool socks. I'm not concerned for 2 or 3 days about a change of clothes or, it is what it is. What you're wearing is what you got.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least to be aware of what the weather is going to be and pay attention, today, tomorrow. So whatever you're wearing would be good for that, not just throw on a little windbreaker as you go out the door. Be a little prepared for the weather in case something happens, or if you see that, it's going to be cold, have extra hat, gloves, whatever the case might be.
Well, I guess one of the things I failed to say earlier is the reason I keep it in the gallon Ziploc bag is if, for instance, I slip and fall into a creek, I have a dry set of long underwear. I can quickly get into, dry out my clothes with a fire, and then repack and go. But this way, that's why it's in the Ziploc bag, so that I have. Plus, that gives me a container to grab water if I need to as well. So,
Nice.
okay, Mikey, you up?
For clothes, I don't generally do a whole lot because, again, I'm mainly just focused on getting back home. So I'm not anticipating having to be out for more than, say, 72 hours. So I really only have a wool base layer top in my bag, and then usually there's a heavy coat in the car if it's wintertime.
Yep, sounds good. Nick?
I too fall into the generally I dress for the conditions. I do have in the winter, I have a pull-out bag that I have with gloves, hat, some kind of wool scarf, smog, something like that. I always have the leather gloves too, so I know between those things I can layer up pretty well and be comfortable. One thing that I have found personally, though, that I think is really useful with clothing, because again, like we were saying, it's so hard to always have this, and I've tried to carry the wool anorak and a whole proper set of winter stuff and dress that way, and it's difficult when you think like this and you try to prepare for it. But what I was going to say is what's useful is caching, and we really haven't touched on that too much. And I know that's not a concept that some people really like or are familiar with, but the idea of having, like here at the shop, we have lockers. So in my locker is a dry bag with a complete set of clothes in it, and that gets changed with the seasons too, because one time I went to get coffee for everyone at the shop here, and I was parking the car, and as I got out, I dumped coffee down my shirt and my pants, and it went into my shoes, and just not fun. So it was a really
But you were warm for a second.
It was a really great moment to realize. So having outer layers is great, but sometimes you need all the layers.
All of them, yeah.
So it was worth setting aside a set of clothes and then just one more little step to say, okay, well, if I'm going to go to all the trouble to have this extra set of clothes that just lives at the shop essentially, or wherever you want, in your car or whatever, then I might as well make it the clothes that I need when I need it.
Good plan.
Yeah.
Samuel.
My list is very similar to yours. It's almost like we build them at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Or you just copy his
Or I
ideas.
just copied the
What are the
list you
chances?
did and put it all in my bag.
Interesting.
I also have a set of long johns, uppers and lowers, wool socks, wool gloves and leather gloves, a wool hat, a spare pair of underbreeches, and a set of rain gear, top and
Oh,
bottom.
rain gear is next.
Oh.
Go ahead.
But
I
it's
guess you
clothing.
can start. I know, but it's just next.
But you put it, it's like clothes, you put it on.
No, that's clothing.
All right.
Same
we'll
as the
talk rain gear.
gloves.
We'll
Sorry
just
about
start
it.
And
with
rain
Sam.
gear.
Yeah, rain gear. Okay. I got you. Yeah. Again, getting back, like I don't have jeans and T-shirts and things like that because the main thing was if something happens, I want something to get me warm quick. If I'm in a place where I can't start a fire, I can throw these base layers on. That's why I chose the wool. So that works good. But you brought up rain gear. What specifically do you have?
I currently just have a cheap Amazon set of jacket and pants that are camo because I bought them for hunting season.
Right.
And then I was like, hey, these would go great in this bag. So that's what
No, that
I
worked.
got.
Yeah.
That worked.
And I did use them last weekend, that's for sure.
Yes. Yes, we did have our gear out. I actually used my poncho, but I have a full set of, I guess, lightweight frog togs. They're not those big rubber ones, you know, those real heavy
I
duty
hate
ones.
those.
They're
I'm sorry. I don't
big.
mean to be derogatory, but I've never had any good luck with the frog togs. It comes apart at the seams almost instantaneously.
See, I
for me.
had good luck
Well,
with
they have-
this. The ones I have right now.
They have like
I like 'em.
another, like, there's like the papery.
Yeah,
and then
there's
they
a
have
few
like
different
a level
levels. That's
above
what I
yeah.
was saying. I think I might have the mid level.
Right.
I don't know.
Never
But they're
had any
small
luck with
enough.
them.
But the other side of that is I'm really liking the frog tog pants with a poncho
Oh, okay. There you go.
and the poncho going over the pack. instead of having a pack
Nice.
cover. So
And there's some-
that's one of the directions I'm looking at changing out for that. But
Going
that's
back to
my
the
rain gear.
ultralight backpackers, I know, and there's going to be some judgment on this one, I'm sure, but the rain kilt is a thing. I'm just saying.
Honest,
I'm
didn't
just
know there was
saying
one.
that
Yeah.
Is there?
if you follow Shug Emery on YouTube,
Yeah.
he
I like
talks
Shug.
about this quite a bit because he tested it extensively. He's a poncho guy typically for rain gear. And he experimented with this rain skirt thing or rain kilt, depending on if you're a guy or girl, I guess. And he was pleasantly impressed with it. Like, yeah, it's kind of goofy going down the trail wearing this kilt, skirt, whatever thing, but it keeps you dry and doesn't get all damp because you're.
Only to right above your knees, though,
Right.
right?
It depends on the size and all that. Now the commercial ones were, I mean,
I don't know.
relatively.
I'm gonna have to look into this. I didn't
yes.
know there was a
You've
rain
got if you got
kilt.
your muck boots on.
Why don't you know about the rain kilt,
I
Mr.
didn't know it was
Land
a
Rover?
thing.
Essentially,
I
it was a
needed.
piece of plastic with a Velcro, like attachment strap. But yeah,
So do I have to shave my legs for that, or what's the protocol?
see,
I-
here we go. Here we go.
already have
Bring
to
up
do
one thing.
Yeah. So that okay. Well,
Nick,
Right.
would like
Fortunately
to
for
scratch
Scott, they
that?
come in see-through.
so there,
Just saying.
that's good information. That's no problem. So where are you on your gear, on your rain gear?
I have one, just similar to what I just said. I have one piece of fancy
He has
pants.
nothing.
Here
just
in
say,
the truck.
just say it. Say it.
No,
I got
it's
nothing.
You have nothing in the bag.
It's waxed. No, no. Yes, I do. I have this heat sheet, which is a poncho
probably-
slash
He
kilt.
is. He is banking on that mylar
Other
bag.
than that,
He's got a whole lot less gear than me and still covers a lot of bases. So
It's true.
I'm gonna grab my jacket. I have a Barber Beaufort jacket. It's my one nod to some fancy pants piece of
my
gear.
one nice thing.
It's very expensive, but it's one of those last you a lifetime. Can be repaired, can be re-waxed.
I'm with you.
It's a buy one and done type jacket. And I got one for me and one for Michelle
Good call.
because I got a guy, in the UK.
A guy.
Big Al.
You got a jacket guy?
I got a jacket guy.
He's got a kilt guy too.
If you go over,
he's
you got
guy.
a guy.
Tyler, what are you pulling for rain gear?
Well, I got a leather jacket that I use as kind of over for my ruck to keep my gear dry as well. That way, if it starts raining real bad while I'm out on the trail, all my gear is covered and it stays dry. Then if I start getting wet, just take it off the gear, throw it on me, and go hide under a tree somewhere.
There you go.
The hiding thing, no problem. Brian,
Well, I'm fascinated. I googled rain kilt, and now I'm on the
you're
rabbit
right.
hole
Now
of
you're
rain
down a
kilts. Yeah, I didn't know
He's
such a thing
getting one.
existed.
I was like, I didn't know I needed this.
It's in my cart as we speak.
Just saying.
They had it in his size and color.
Wow.
I think it's one size fits all, mostly.
But yeah, so I mean, a few years ago, I broke down and bought a nice actual like Marmot rain jacket because I got tired of stuff that was waterproof that really wasn't waterproof. Like I don't buy boots anymore that aren't waterproof. I don't understand why you would. I know people
I
talk
agree with
about
that.
your feet sweating or things like that, but if I'm wearing boots that are waterproof, I just don't see a reason not to do that. So I got a nice jacket, and then of course the poncho over top of that, and hopefully it won't wet out. The poncho is not super duper, but it gets the job done. And the Marmot I keep relatively up to date and doing the tech wash and all that stuff. So hopefully it doesn't wet out. But I mean, that was one of the things that I did a few years ago is like I actually broke down and spent the money to get a decent jacket because I just got tired of things that were supposed to be waterproof that weren't.
Yeah. The nice thing about ponchos is surplus. Take them home, get inside of them, look through them on a light, patch all the holes with that garment.
Duct
Gear tape.
No, it's not duct
Gear
tape.
tape.
What is it?
Gear tape.
Gear tape.
Duct tape.
Fantastic. Got a brand new poncho for what? $2-3 at the gun store, or at the gun show or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think those are
Wait,
about 10 year ago prices, but
Yeah,
sorry.
but-
Didn't we
It's,
all
it's
get
not quite that good
that
no more.
weird Czechoslovakian army camo poncho thing?
I love
years
that. I
ago?
still have it.
I got
Is that the
it
one you
stashed
gave me last
somewhere.
weekend?
I just let him borrow. I told him, I said, this is my favorite one. Don't lose it.
It kept my Pelican case dry all weekend
Yeah,
because
he
I
didn't
never
want
did
it.
put
You
it
smell
on.
like surplus
Yeah.
rubber, but
Yeah.
you are dry.
But you're dry.
You'll
Yeah, I
sweat
love that
inside,
thing,
but
man.
you'll be dry from the outside.
It snaps all the way down the sides.
Yes.
Remember? And
Yeah.
you could actually, it's a
Fly.
tarp.
You could
Yeah.
blow
Oh,
away
you
in a
can do all
windstorm.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, we got them at
That was
a
a
gun
while
show
ago.
years ago, and those were great.
Was that a you find or a Timmy Stetzer find?
No, that was me. I
Oh,
found
okay.
it. They're
Something like
yeah,
that.
something like. I
Some-
can't
It had
remember.
that
Odd.
weird sort of reddish,
The reddish camo
Yeah.
pattern in the greens. Yeah,
It's
Those are
startling at
great.
first, but you get used to it.
But it's a great poncho. I
I
still
don't know
love
what
it.
it's camoing with the
Yeah.
orange.
It's
in there,
camoing the fact that you've already been shot.
but I guess.
Wow.
I guess.
A little dark, Michael.
All right, Mikey, you're up.
Oddly enough, I have been doing a lot of testing on the new Carhartt Rain Defender stuff.
I like those.
Don't know what it is.
So they have a series of clothes that are just regular clothes, but they have a waterproof coating on them. So you can get hoodies, pants, all of the regular workwear that they have in Rain Defender. And I had a Rain Defender hoodie on at the Pouting all weekend and did not get wet.
And it rained.
And it
The
rained
whole weekend?
Yeah,
a lot.
So,
So I have been trying to integrate more of the Rain Defender clothing just into my everyday lifestyle. And then from my many years of coaching, I have some old low alpine triple ceramic rain gear, like the overalls and the jacket.
Is
and
Low Alpine still around?
they make camera stuff now, and that's it.
I was going to say, I have
Camera bag.
Because
a
they
hiking
made some
sack.
good stuff back in the day, man.
I traded our brother Ange for.
I remember that trade.
Your
That was a
backpack?
big bag.
Yeah,
That's a
I remember
great
your
bag.
big backpack. Yeah.
I have-
remember that.
I
That's a
have
low
a
alpine. I love that
100
thing.
1,000 cubic inch
What the heck did I trade
backpack.
him?
from-
I think, I don't know.
Big
We had a good trade going on. I got the bag. He got something. It was cool. Yeah, I liked it.
Good trade.
I still like the bag.
Good
so.
trade.
My rain gear is
Good
just in
trade.
a dry bag.
Right
hanging
on.
out.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Up to you.
See above regarding what I said about the trash bags. I am a big proponent of that for multiple reasons. I
It's
know
like I'm a
it's,
glad guy.
I know it's low tech, but
No,
I've those things have gotten me out of trouble. And okay, not to get all goofy gray man talk on people, but I
Look
will
at me.
say that a trash bag over your backpack or over your body makes you look like a lot less inviting target than a cool rain cover or this or that or the other
Because you look
thing.
crazy.
You don't like the tactical
You
jacket?
look like just another person that's trying to get along in the world.
And you can make one into a rain kilt if you do it right.
Yeah, you could. You could.
Okay.
With a nice
So-
drawstring waist.
I'm not going to fault it because it does work. I mean, you can't say it doesn't work because it does.
You can
does.
use trash bags for a lot of things.
Yes.
You can.
All
Boy,
right.
howdy.
Sam asked, oh, wait, you started.
I started, remember? Because you
Well,
didn't
bring-
think it was clothing.
The next thing we're going to need to get into is cordage. Okay? So I'm going to run down my cordage. I carry about 50 feet of paracord and probably 100 feet of the bank line. I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know the millimeters that I got. It's a small one. What micro? I think it's a micro one because it comes in
Micro
the.
cord is different than bank line.
What's that? The company that makes this paracord spool that you had on your desk? Plastic.
Atwood?
Atwood.
Is that wood?
That.
Atwood
I have-
does a lot of the
I know I
paracord
said
stuff.
bank
I
line,
got
but
that
I
off
think
one
you're
of our
right.
dealers.
Oh, okay. If it's
micro.
Atwood, then it's micro
Micro
cord,
cord,
and that's
yes.
not.
It has a
that's not
built-in
tar-
cutter.
Okay,
So if I
bank
said the
line.
word bank line on anything earlier, it's micro cord. I said
Bank
it
line is
incorrectly.
tarred
Yes, it
cordage
is
that was
not-
traditionally used for netting material,
Correct.
and it is wonderful. But yeah,
What's
that's something
this?
different. Let me see it.
Yeah, no, I have micro
Okay, this
cord.
is polyester micro cordage.
Okay. Is this what you have?
Mine's black, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing.
This is okay. Go ahead.
No, it's a good
I'll
setup.
wait.
So
Good.
that's it for cordage for me. Is 50 feet of what did I say, paracord, and then I whatever's on that spool, maybe
Micro
100
cord.
feet.
Yeah, that's
on the
micro
micro cord.
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
how many feet's on there.
So I keep those. I think I can do what I need to do with that.
Check your local Ace Hardware for micro cord.
Yeah, so there. That's what my cordage is. What do you got?
Paracord. Lots of paracord floating around in a variety of bags in my back pocket to make a lanyard real quick on a sheath. But I found this at County Com, and it looks like a
I got a
wee
funny
little disc.
story about that.
This thing?
Yep.
Okay. And it has this rubber overprotector thing, and you just kind of fold this back, and there's all the micro cordage underneath here. I don't remember what pound test this is, but I think it's pretty high.
That's good enough for
Could
parts,
probably.
for
Oh
sure.
my goodness, yeah. For a lot of variety of, and I don't think this was very expensive. You can use it, cut it, and pitch it, or
That's
it's
probably
no
what,
big deal.
50 feet there?
Probably.
Yeah.
There's
Maybe
a- there's
even
a fair
more,
bit.
maybe more without them.
I think they're 100. That one.
When the
spool.
bank line craze was going on, I bought some, and I did not care for it.
Yeah.
I'd rather have paracord.
It's like I
'Cause I
always
can take
call
it
bank
apart.
line. I know it's microcord. It's
Now
just
this
a
is completely
brain thing.
different. Yeah, this is for another use, but paracord is way too
yeah.
versatile.
Well, you got what?
I don't need
strands
bank line.
inside,
Yeah.
plus the sheath.
And
Yeah,
if
there's
it's
tons of
real
stuff.
mil spec stuff, and you know it has the color coded one strand inside, the little cords inside probably test like this. They're
Yeah,
those
they're
are pretty
pretty
strong.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cordage and a little. And if you find the fire kit paracord, now you got a piece in there that'll help you make a fire.
Right, for fire.
That's awesome.
Ty, what are you running?
I usually keep a spool of 150-pound test fishing line
Not a bad thought. Yeah.
because it's multi-use and use it for tying things off. And if you want to out there for a while, you can run it to a pole and start fishing out of a creek with it if you had to.
Yeah. Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, so I used to have just paracord, just a hank of paracord. But I picked up that mess tin kit from SE/Randall's. Was that like a year and a half ago? And there's a 100-foot line of Kevlar line in there, and there's also a little bit of snare wire and some other cordage. So I mean, and it's tiny. It's like the size of the spool that Scott's got. Like silver dollar size almost for 100 feet of Kevlar line is great.
Gotcha. All right, Mikey.
I have 50 feet of fire cord. I have a spool that bank line comes on in my bag, and then I have 150 feet of am steel that we used for making whippy slings and stuff.
Oh, good call. Yeah, I like that stuff. Nick, what are you on?
Okay, so I have 3 bobbins of Kevlar cord. For those of you that don't know what a bobbin is, see a sewing machine, Google it, you'll understand.
Yeah.
It's pretty thin, it's extremely strong, but it's not UV resistant, so you have to be careful about it being around the light. Everything Kevlar is like that. So there's that. Then I have the spool that Scott was talking about from the company County Comms is all teched up to be cool. It's got little glowy markers and everything on it. But if you want
It
to
does?
pay
I don't think so.
$1 for one of those spools and get 6 of them, you can go onto Walmart or eBay or wherever and type in silicon bobbing silicon beading spool, and you will find exactly what he's talking about. And I have a few of those loaded up with bank line and Technora line. Technora, in some circles, is called Superman hair. Check that out. It makes a friction saw that is awesome and just super useful. And then I have a daisy donut of paracord. I started out with 50 feet, and I've cut a little bit off of that. So that's a cool thing too. If you haven't checked that out, how to make a daisy chain that's a ring. Really
I've
nice
seen
way to
that.
store up your paracord for a little package like that.
Good deal. Sam, what are you running?
So I looked it up to see how many feet it was. I have the Atwood rope micro cord. It's 125 feet on that
Okay.
spool.
That's what I got.
And in the same company, I have the paracord spool, and it's 50 feet.
And that's a 50-feet spool. Yeah. So this is going to wrap up episode 2. We are at the end. It's been about an hour, so we have stopped at quarter. There's tons of stuff to keep going over. Hoping that we're giving you guys some ideas. Remember, drop Mikey a line and give us some ideas. We're always glad to add to what we're thinking. Again, I've taken some notes for what I have here that I need to add to my thing. I think the biggest thing we all learned is Tyvek's for the win.
Yep.
That's just one of those things. Is one of those.
And
we'll
rain
keep looking at.
kilts. Don't forget
Rain
rain
kilts.
kilts.
So don't forget
Rain
to use our affiliate link if you can on your Amazon. You are more than welcome just to send us show ideas. We have a few of these in the bag, and we're going to do some more. We want to do on the bag, and then we want to do the hats, and then we want to do the EDC. So we have lots of that stuff coming up. Final thoughts, anyone? We got like a minute. We're good to go?
I'm good.
Good to go.
Mikey, you like it?
I'm happy.
All right, guys, thank you very much for all the support. Check out LTWrightKnives.com, woodsmonkey.com. You can catch up on all the old Shack episodes, and we will see you for episode 3 in a short time. God bless you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.